If you're a side-by-side rider, this is something you have never been able to drive to before. Hello everybody, welcome to At Your Leisure. I'm Chad Booth.
And I'm Rhea Rossi Booth.
And we are out in Garfield County. We just set sail out of Cannonville. Had a nice day in Tropic, very scenic, very pretty. And we are out with a bunch of the locals discovering things along the Scoot-and-Paw Road.
Oh, spectacular views out here, and you're talking wide open spaces, and we're 6 feet apart, except you and I are married, so we don't have to be. But honestly, it's spectacular, and if you want to bring your family out here and get in your ATVs or your Jeep, oh, it's beautiful.
This area is known as the Waweep Hoodoos. They're hoodoos like you'd find in Goblin Valley, but take a look at them. They're kind of yellowish.
Yeah.
They're an entirely different color.
Right, very different, and they're much closer to you, you know, like when you're traveling.
Yeah.
They feel like it's a real intimate space. It's really beautiful.
It is very intimate. In fact, I think we're almost standing on top of one of them.
I think we are.
Anyway, we have only seen the tip of the geological iceberg that's out here. So sit back, relax, and feast your eyes on this.
My favorites are probably the slot canyons, and you know, people think of the deep canyons like the Grand Canyon and other slot canyons, but there are so many slot canyons in this country, in this part of the state, that are virtually unknown to anyone from outside of this area. And opening this area up to ATVs kind of opens it up for more people to enjoy this scenery.
Just really super scenic, really pretty area. It's in the Grand Staircase National Monument. It's kind of not a really downbeaten path type trail. A great side-by-side ATV trail.
Some spectacular scenery. This is a spectacular area. That's why they need to come and visit, is because the scenery is outstanding.
A lot of great places around the Tropic area, tons. And in Cannonville, the Red Rocks Cannonville. I think it would take you weeks to cover everything out in the Garfield County area. Check them all out. A very long time.
Honey, we don't have to do that 6 feet social distancing because
we're married?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I already have your cooties and you have mine. And
okay.
all.
But everybody else should, as our group is today.
Right, we are.
Well, you know, being socially responsible when you're out riding is really important, but also soaking in the beauty. As you can see, this is a place you are going to want to come explore. Yeah. And now you can. It's been 27 years.
Over a quarter of a century that you have not been able to come out here.
With your side-by-sides.
Crazy.
And so this is a new opportunity. There are hundreds, maybe even thousands of miles to explore with the new travel management plan down here. And as pretty as this stuff is, there's still one shot that you are just going to want to hang on to till the end of the show.
So true. But right now, we're going to head off to our where to.
The 60-acre Redwood Nature Area is one of the largest open spaces along the 45-mile length of the Jordan River Corridor. If you must get out during these precarious times, remember to keep your distance. It's easier here because the trail is 10 feet wide with broad shoulders. UTA kicked in $1 million to develop the park as mitigation for wetlands it took to construct tracks and Front Runner. It built ponds, canals, habitat that draws wildlife of all kinds, shorebirds and wading birds including glossy ibis, American avocets, common terns and blackneck stilts, and killdeer foraging for insects in the shallow waters. In the marsh, a noisy red-winged blackbird calls for a mate, while a yellow-headed blackbird shows off his magnificent plumage. A hungry cormorant patrols the waters at lunchtime, and a pair of red-tailed hawks take advantage of specially built roosting towers. In January, we saw this frequent visitor in the cottonwoods near the river. Fox and deer are occasionally seen in the wetlands, along with this slow mover. But it's the birds that really love the place. In recent springs, it has undergone a population explosion as geese and ducks raise their families in the vast wild nursery right in the heart of the city. Large families of baby ducks cruise the canal that feeds the wetland from the west, and tons of baby geese were everywhere, grazing in the new spring sprouts right along the trail. But in recent years, invasive phragmites have overrun the wetlands, threatening the wildlife habitat. There is hope that they can be controlled by cutting and spraying. People have been coming here at least since the early days of settlement. A bird-splattered rail marks the crossing of the ill-fated Donna Reed Party in 1846, and a new swinging bridge commemorates the first settlers to cross the frozen Jordan in 1848. It will become the northern anchor for an extensive new park development on the east bank of the Jordan. Running south to 3500 South, the park will include restrooms, a boardwalk, fishing piers, and a pond for easy canoe access to the river. Today, the trail is filled with families out for a stroll, bikers getting a little exercise, or commuting to downtown. Even horses are frequent visitors, with plenty of room to challenge the adjacent tracks line. Scott Ruster with Abby, Twerp, and Skinny says it's a perfect place to walk the pooch.
It's a beautiful place and it's not used very much, and I love to be out here with the birds and see the wildlife, the eagles and deer, and that's why I'm out here walking the dogs.
The paved trail loops the wetlands and connects to the Redwood Recreation Center to the west. It is plenty wide to allow for passing at safe coronavirus separation. I'm Reece Stein with this week's Where To adventure at the Redwoods Nature Park.
Spring is the time to race with the sun and reach for the stars. Be unstoppable with instant traction from the industry's fastest engaging all-wheel drive and the off-road's most advanced intelligent suspension. It automatically adjusts to soak up the bumps, flatten the corners, and cushion the landings. Polaris. Think outside.
And we will see you next week on the County Seat.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. My name's Anthony Lujan.
And I'm Rusty Monson.
Today we are going to be cooking this beautiful brisket here.
Yep, so we're using Yardley beef. It's out of Beaver, Utah. It's been around for 160 years. It is a grass-fed product. I prefer grass-fed local beef because, one, the flavor, two, and most importantly, I know where my meat's coming from. That's important to me. When you have grass-fed meat, the taste can be so much better than something you would find at any of your grocery stores. So Anthony here is going to kind of show you what he's going to do as far as trimming this thing, which isn't going to take a lot for this brisket. Now, do you have to get all of it off? No, because some of it is flavor, some of it's good. So Anthony's done with that side. Now he's gonna look for flaps like he's doing now. And we're gonna go fat side down on this cook, and that's gonna protect our meat from the flames. So you wanna kind of reserve some of that fat if you can to keep it a little moist.
There we go, Rusty.
Looks
all
beautiful,
trimmed
man.
up. Now we're gonna move on to seasoning. My biggest tip with seasoning is it's your best friend. That's where all your flavor comes from. I always tell people to cover your meat until you almost can't see it. Today we are gonna be using hooks. This is his smoke and sweetness. This is kind of more of a savory flavor here. I always start off with the sides. I always do the sides here and then come over right on the top, kind of almost like you're painting it, you know? And then we're gonna come over here with this is Hooks, Rubs, and Spices, Mad Cow. This has a lot more of a heat to it. So we're just gonna add just a little bit of that to this. We don't want it too spicy, but we want a little bit of a pop to it. And the best results is if you let this sit on your countertop for 20 to 30 minutes to where it actually kinds to sweat in a way.
It sweats in and it allows that salt to penetrate. The salt won't penetrate very much, just the crust a little bit.
So we'll get that on the smoker. So come on with us. Alrighty guys, we have officially hit 165 internal temperature on this brisket. So it's time to wrap it.
So what I want to do real quick is I have 2 tinfoil pieces. Anthony's gonna set that about right here. So I just want to make sure that I have this wrapped very, very tightly. I'm gonna put a couple of things of butter in here just to kind of add some fat and some moisture. So when I first come over, I'm gonna lap it over, fold it on these sides. I'm gonna take that and literally just kind of do that with it, like that. So this right here is our meaty end. This is our fatty end. So this is going to now, it was on the bottom, but I'm gonna flip that up so the fat side is on top so that juice can roll down and keep it moist. So we'll set that timer with our ThermalWorks Smoke X, and then we'll come back when that goes off.
All right guys, we've got this brisket to temp.
Yep.
One thing about cooking a brisket to temperature is you want to give yourself a ballpark, anywhere from 201 to 205, and then you're actually going to start using a meat probe, and you're almost going for like the filling of the meat probe going into some jello. So when you reach that point, you're going to pull it, put it in a dry cooler, wrap it in towels to fill up some airspace, let it rest for a minimum of at least 1 hour, but up to at least 5 or 6. Longer is better, so we're going to do that now, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, we just pulled our brisket out of the rest here, and we're going to slice it up. Make sure you go against the grain. Cooked it all the way through. Has some good snap to it.
Let's give it a shot.
Taste it out. Beefy. It's good. Well, that's it. That's smoked brisket. We'll be right back with At Your Leisure.
Hey honey, have you seen this tire? Do you think we'll make it?
Not on that thing.
Don't let bad tires ruin your trip. With service stations at every location along I-15, we can get you back on the road with fast, friendly, professional service. Eagles Landing has everything you need along the way. Even the things you didn't know you'd need. Get ready for the road at Eagles Landing.
I promised my son that if he got straight A's, the two of us would take a guys trip. We were riding on the Lincoln Loop Trail outside Minersville, Utah. There was so much to explore, and the trail just kept climbing higher, right to the very top of a mountain called Jack's Peak. We just stood for a while, taking in the whole world below. On the way back to camp, my son turned to me and said, "I love you, Dad." Then suddenly it hit me. This wasn't just another camping trip.
Outdoors is the healthiest place to be during our current health situation, but only when we practice responsible recreation while getting away. When exploring Utah, do the following. Limit gatherings to 10 people or less and keep at least 6 feet apart. Sanitize hard surfaces before and after you touch them. Send a single person into shopping locations, and when making purchases, use credit cards rather than cash. Most important, if you don't feel normal, don't go. Stay safe and have fun out there.
Oh, unbelievable
man, can you
beauty.
imagine the picture here? Welcome back to At Your Leisure. We are taking a look deep into Garfield County over there. That's
Grand Staircase.
We're almost to the top of the Grand Staircase.
Spectacular.
And, you know, we mentioned at the beginning of the show that this thing's been off limits for 27 years, really ever since the Grand Staircase National Monument came into effect.
Can you imagine being locked out of this beauty for 27 years?
So in that whole time,
Unbelievable.
ATVs, dirt bikes, side-by-sides have not been welcome out here. But in their new travel plan, since they reduced the monument, all kinds of roads and routes have opened up, but it took a lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of work, but boy, was it worth it.
Let's find out about it.
Well, I don't know that it was a matter of effort as much as it was a matter of logic. The actual former monument plan and the plan for the lands that were taken out of the monument just didn't work. For instance, the road we came across right now may have been open for public vehicles, but it's not suitable for public vehicles. You really had to have either a high clearance four-wheel drive vehicle or an ATV. It said it was open to the public, but from a practical sense it wasn't. You couldn't have used your vehicle to get here unless you had a specialized four-wheel drive vehicle or an ATV, and it wasn't allowed for ATVs.
Our economy thrives on tourism. Tourism is our major economic source. It's our major source for income. Anything that will enhance the tourism in this area enhances the businesses in my town.
So behind us is the grave of Elijah Everett. And right down there, way down there. So really cool. So this is a historical grave, right? And if it weren't for the opening of this beautiful trail and this road,
You mean the ATVs?
the ATVs and side-by-sides, there's no way you could come down here and see this.
Yeah.
But I have heard about this person, but do you know the significance behind this guy?
Yeah, he was a member of a cavalry brigade, and they'd run some Indians up into a side canyon trying to, I guess, corner him.
Yeah.
The Indians took off, and then he was part of that patrol. He was down here the next day, and he got stabbed with an arrow.
Wrong spot at the wrong time.
And they buried him right here on the spot. So here's the interesting sidebar. His dad was a stonecutter, did a lot of work on the Manti Temple.
Wow.
So his dad created a tombstone and brought it down here and set it up where he was buried.
Beautiful.
Fascinating stuff.
It really is.
You know, that's just the kind of interesting story that we're always on the lookout for here at Your Leisure, which is why we have our weekly Along the Way, brought to you by Rocky Mountain ATV MC.
This week on At Your Leisure, we are heading to San Juan County to find out how locals and local government agencies are coming together to open access to an incredible area.
What we're looking at today is a proposal from Josh Nielsen to connect with 300 or 400 yards of road to trail segments. There actually is a remnant of an old road there, so it would just be a matter of getting the legal access to go ahead and start using that.
This piece of land here is controlled by SITLA, the state trust lands. And so we've been working with SITLA and the county assessor, the county in general, and they've worked with us really good. And they've developed the best route and the most promising route, and they are currently putting together maps and proposals and application process and working to get it finalized.
To create a better trail system, this road would connect two incredible trails and allow OHVers to see more of this stunning landscape without having to backtrack or plan several trips. A project like this could prove to be an absolute game changer for off-roading in this area.
And this is all part of the Bears Ears National Monument, and it's all open to recreation still. And the Bears Ears Committee has worked with us on that, and they've done their best to keep it open and enjoyable for us. And it's my feeling that if we are respectful and if we do things the right way, it will stay that way. Been really encouraging to have the county and the state working with me so well on this. They have worked with me well, they've looked at maps and they've gone over things, and they've actually made some recommendations that were better than what I had originally requested. They have been great to work with. And it's been encouraging as just a regular citizen to have that happen because the government's listening, basically.
It's important to me as a county commissioner to keep access open so that everybody has a chance to see what this county has to offer. But there's a proper way to deal with the resources, to deal with the cultural sites, and there's an improper way, and we hope that everybody will learn how to properly visit and experience the kind of things that we've experienced today.
In a county as large as San Juan, connecting existing trails can make a huge impact for outdoor enthusiasts.
All the way from Blanding, it extends the system out of Blanding to where you can get almost anywhere in this county without driving on pavement. But Lower Bollies, there's not a road that accesses it until we get this approved. We're not all the way through yet, so I can't say come ride it, because it's not open yet. But we are in the process, and we're hoping, and we have high confidence that pretty soon we'll be able to connect the east part of this trail system to the west trail system.
So keep an eye out for this exciting new development in San Juan County. For At Your Leisure, I'm Nick Chase.
From sunrise to sunset, the new Honda Talon 1000s offer performance and fun for up to 4 passengers. Make that sunrise to sunrise. This is the side-by-side your family has been waiting for. More proof than ever that life is better side by side.
Life's busy. The family is all headed in different directions. Work, school, sports. How do you pull everyone together? Stedman's Recreation can help you explore the outdoors and create memories to last a lifetime. Stedman's Recreation has Utah's largest selection of recreational vehicles. Side-by-sides, ATVs, dirt bikes, street bikes, electric bikes, trailers, and accessories. Yamaha, Honda, Polaris, and Beta. Plus, Stedman's has a full service department of Honda power equipment.
Stedman's Recreation in Tooele. You may think it's 300 miles out here, but remember, it's only 30 miles back.
Discover new horizons in Millard County. Stand at the edge of the earth on Notch Peak, the second highest sheer cliff in North America. Explore the vast expanses of the Pavant Mountains with an off-road adventure on the Paiute Trail. Take a step back in history with a visit to the Territorial State House in Fillmore. Or try your hand at archaeology, digging for prehistoric fossils. Millard County, the heart of your Great Basin adventures.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure, everybody. We are standing here
at the Bull Valley Gorge.
Yeah, it is really a gorge. I've never seen anything so steep.
It's about 230, 240 feet straight down in a narrow little spot.
Yeah.
And this is as far as we get to go because the bridge is washed out.
Right. It's spectacular, though. It's beautiful.
And of course, there's quite a story behind it. As you heard, this is a place where the guys lost their truck and went over the edge and took their lives, and they got wedged down there. But as a result, they were able to actually build the bridge over it because the truck stabilized the soil from falling through, and they were actually able to build a dirt bridge over it.
Amazing. But I'm sure they didn't feel a thing. That happened back in 1954.
True, and with the bridge out, of course, that means this is as far as we get to go on our Scoot and Paw Road adventure today.
Oh my gosh, what fun we've had.
You know, this place is just filled with so much history.
You could spend weeks out here and not discover everything.
And might discover something nobody's ever discovered before, too.
Right.
Anyway, right now it's time for us to turn directions and get off to this week's business. Who's our lucky sticker winner?
This week's contest winner was submitted to us on Facebook by Chris Komish. Congratulations, Chris. It looks like you're the lucky winner of a $400 gift certificate from Rifab.
Rifab offers the best custom metal fabrication for your rig. Visit rifab.com for more information. And it looks like Chris is also going to win a $100 gas and gift card from the folks at Eagles Landing, which is the best place to get that real gasoline Clear 91.
Be sure to call us on Monday at 801-947-8888 to claim that prize. Now let's take a look at next week's show.
Good idea, Rhea. Next week, Scott Huntsman and I show you that you don't need to go far to have a great time as we let the rubber meet the road on the first motorcycle ride of the season.
Then, nestled in the Ochre Mountains, sits an old mining town rich in history and ready for exploration. Join the AYL crew as we visit this great destination for off-roading.
Finally, we take a look at one young couple who have decided to truly live the adventure lifestyle as they've built their home on wheels and are hitting the road with plans to stay there.
Well, next week's show looks fantastic.
It does, Miss Rhea.
Yeah, and this was a fantastic day out in Tropic, Utah. I mean, to me, I'd call it Shangri-La because it had everything. It was such a beautiful day.
Absolutely spectacular scenery.
It was. And the folks we were with, all these guys, socially distant, love them.
Yeah, we do want to do some socially distant thank yous. We want to thank the mayor of Tropic who got this whole trip put together for us today. Waylon Brinkerhoff, one of the many Brinkerhoffs. His dad came along, his son, wave, hi, how you doing? We also want to thank our tour guide, who actually is an outfitter that does tours, and that's Joey Shakespeare.
That's really his name, Joey
Shakespeare, that's right. And his business is called Grand Staircase ATV Tours, grandstaircaseatv.com. You might want to check it out if you want to make a trip down here. And of course, our crew driver, Brett Stewart, who helped us make everything happen. He's just been great on this whole junket down here.
The best. So remember, there is adventure around every corner.
You just have to get out there and create your own adventure, as we have well proved today, at your leisure.
Social distancing for now.
So long, everybody.
See ya.